Hi everybody, welcome to Our Worship Sound. My name is Peter and today I'm going to show you a worship keyboard tutorial on playing melodically. And this is going to require an understanding of chords, but we're going to go beyond playing by chords. And because of that, I would classify this as more of an advanced worship keyboard training, so hopefully you can bear with me. But in this video, we're going to use a song called No Other Name of Jesus, and you can hear a performance of that in another video that I've done. I'll put the link right in this annotation here, so you can click on that and watch that directly if you like. First of all, I'm going to start out playing this with more of a block chord approach, so just playing by the chords. There is no other name, no other name, no other name but Jesus, by which we can be saved. So that's an example of that way. Now the method I'm going to show you today is playing melodically. Here's what it would sound like if I was playing melodically. There is no other name, no other name, no other name but Jesus, by which we can be saved. So that's an example of what it would be like to play melodically, and you can tell that it sounds more interesting. But I wouldn't recommend it that you use it exclusively, because there are times where it wouldn't be the most appropriate thing to do. Like if you had another instrumentalist who is playing melodically, like a guitar player who's doing a lot of melodic riffs, or if you had another solo instrument like a violin or a flute or a saxophone or a brass instrument, or if you had a vocalist who was ad-libbing a lot, you wouldn't want to try to play melodies that would conflict with those. And also sometimes we just need to have spaces that are unfilled. So just not every space, not every moment needs to have something going on. So we need to let the song breathe a little bit. But a little bit of this at the right time adds a lot of flavor to the song, and it really serves the moment well. So to do this, you're gonna need some prerequisite information. You're gonna need to watch and grasp the concepts in building scales for flat keys and sharp keys, basic chords, altered chords, and chord inversions. You'll need a good solid grasp of all those concepts before you're ready to tackle what we're going to do in this video. Okay, step one that I'm going to recommend for learning to play melodically is to start with just one note per hand. In the bass note, in the left hand, I'm going to have you play the bass note, and the right hand, I'm going to have you play the melody. And this is going to do a couple things. It's going to develop your ear to be able to play melodically, and it's also going to build that coordination to be able to play different melodies while also keeping the chord structure going on through the bass note. So before you do that, it's helpful to know what scale you're playing. This song is in the key of E major. So just to review some concepts from the sharp scale video, E is a natural. It's not C or F, so we know that it has sharps in the scale. To figure out the sharps, we need to figure out the leading tone. The leading tone is D sharp. Okay, so if we have D sharp in the order of sharps, we know that first we have to have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and then D sharp. So when we're building our scale, we're going to have E, F is sharp, G is sharp, A, B, C is sharp, D is sharp, and E. Okay, so that'll help us to make sure that we play the right notes, and all of the melody notes are going to fit within that scale. So one note in the left hand, the bass note, one note in the right hand, the melody. Here's what it sounds like. And it might take some experimenting to get the right melody notes. So just developing that coordination. The next step is to be able to play and talk at the same time. I think one of the hardest things to do is to lead prayer while you're playing worship keyboard, but I'll do a video on that once I get that all figured out. So anyway, that's step one. Step two, we're going to add one more note to the right hand. And as I was analyzing what I do when I play melodically, I realized that most of the time when I add a second note to the right hand, it's either the first note of the scale or the fifth note of the scale. And if you remember from the altered chords video, you hear my theory of me talking about how each note of the scale has its own character that ranges from really solid and stable and foundational within the key. It's going to sound good almost any time that you use it, all the way over to notes that are really colorful but sometimes create conflict when using the wrong time. So the first and the fifth are really solid and stable and foundational, so they're going to sound good almost anywhere. So depending on what melody note you're playing, you're going to choose either the E or the B, the first or the fifth in the scale on this one. So anyway, here's what this sounds like. Get the idea there. Okay, so that's step 2. Step kind of 2.5 that I would fit in here before step 3 is that instead of always playing the first or the fifth, sometimes the third or the sixth work. So the third would be G sharp, the sixth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be the C sharp. So occasionally it might work to get one of those notes in here. I think we can fit the C sharp in here at one point at least. Sticking with the root there. First scale degree. There's the sixth. So that's step 2.5. Okay, step 3 is you're going to play your own melodic ideas. And I have a couple of tips to share with you for this. And what I like to do is I like to play around with the half steps within the scale. And the half steps happen in 2 places. They happen between the 3rd and 4th notes of the scale and between the 7th and first notes of the scale. That's where the half steps happen. Every other movement in the scale is by 2 half steps or a whole step. And I think the melodic interest comes from those half step intervals coming through. So let me first play an example for you using the primarily the 7th and the first scale degrees to build some melodic ideas. Now you can go up from here, you can go up to the 5th, or you can go down to the 5th below that. You can go up to the 2nd, or you can go to any other note depending on whatever sounds good. But let me give you an example of what it would be like to play around with the 7th and root here. Okay, so some really interesting things you can do there, playing with those notes, altering the rhythms a little bit. Now with the 3rd and 4th, you have to be a little bit more careful because sometimes this can create some more conflicts, and I can't articulate any of the rules necessarily, but just use your ear and you'll be able to hear what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. And so here's an example. So I worked in the 7th and 1 there at the end, but you get the idea, okay? So step 4 would be to play your own melodic ideas and add that root, or the 1st scale degree or the 5th scale degree in as the 2nd note. Okay, so going a little bit outside the lines there, but anyway, that's step 5. Step 5 is once you developed your ear and your technique to a certain point, you're ready to throw out all these rules and play and just execute what sounds or what's coming from your head. Okay, so what I do is I'm not like trying to like play by numbers or play by the rules. I'm just hearing things in my head, and I've developed my ear and my technique to the point where I know what notes to play based on what I'm hearing in my head. So to prove that I'm playing what I hear in my head, I'm going to sing along the melodic ideas that I'm going to play at the same time. Okay, so here we go. Da, 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 da. I'm messing around, but it'll take you a while to get to that point. I'm 33 now, and I started playing when I was 9. Started with a worship team when I was 16, and then went through college as a music major, music education. And one of the things that really helped was like the theory and ear training courses to really just build my ability. Also, a lot of jazz improvisation too. Just kind of builds your ear. But anything that you do to build your ear will help you play melodically. So I hope that's not too much to throw at you. I feel like that's a lot. But anyway, I did say this is advanced. So what I'd really like for you to do at this point is I'd love to hear from you. Please leave me a comment either on the YouTube channel or contact me through my website, ourworshipsound.com. The next video coming up will be my 25th video, and I'm excited to do something a little bit more personal and get outside of the studio and do something just for fun and just to connect with everybody who's been so supportive and come along for the ride. But also to connect with me, you can get me through Facebook or through Twitter. Please head to my website and download my free worship EP, Draw Me In. And we'll see you soon for video number 25. Thanks, everybody.